Hi, I'm Victor, the main organizer of the Full Stack Flutter conference. On this channel we publish the best talks from the conference every week throughout the year, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I'm also the founder of ServerPod, so if you want to build your backend in Dart, make sure to check that out too. Martin Jeret is the CEO of Code Magic and the self-proclaimed lover of iOS code signing. In his talk, we'll learn about white labeling apps at scale using CI/CD. Let's go!
Hello, Full Stack Flutter Conference. My name is Martin, and today I'm talking about white labeling at scale using CI/CD. Who am I? I studied to become a chemist, and today I've worked in Code Magic for over 5 years now. So chemistry set me up for a successful career in IT. I have over 10 Flutter app projects, but I have published none of them. I have, however, written some articles, and the most popular is how to build iOS apps without the Mac computer. Today, I'm talking to you about Santander application, actually. Maybe you know this bank. I want to draw your attention to the publisher of this app. The Spanish version, it is published by Banco Santander, Spanish company. But Santander operates in the UK as well. And in UK, it is published by Santander UK. So it's similar application, but different. So the Spanish one, its publisher is Banco Santander and it's Spanish content. But in UK, you have the UK publisher and with English content. But there are more things similar between those two applications than there are different. The most biggest one is probably that it is built by the same development team. I think that's reasonable to assume. And so it poses an interesting problem for the development team now, is that the development team needs to be able to ship features to both of these applications, but also allow the teams responsible for content and campaigns, for example, to have this freedom within specific countries. So, for example, when a new iOS version comes out, development team needs to support all of these clients. But let's say they want to build a new product, like a loan product or something, then they need to be able to ship it individually. Okay, but some of you may think like, okay, Martin, but this is only 2 applications. So what is it? There is also Santander Argentina app, and there is Santander US app, and Chile app, and German app. And Santander actually operates in about 15 different countries. So it's not just 2. And operating in 15 countries and being able to open new ones, you need some kind of process or some method to support these operations. And 15 apps is a lot. But you may think now that, okay, but is there a limit? How far can you go? Maybe you know this company Flutterflow. So Flutterflow you can consider actually in a similar position to Santander. But in this case, the development team is not only allowing the customers to change the content, but now they are allowing customers to actually build the entire application. So from functionality to endpoints to release management to everything. So they're taking the same concept of white labeling to the extreme. And in January 25, 2023 at Flutter Forward in Kenya, they were sharing that they've used Code Magic to publish over 5,000 apps to the stores. And today, I think it is maybe over 9,000 apps that they have published to the store. So is there a limit? Probably, but there's a good chance you won't run into it using some of these methods that I'm about to teach you. So we have similar applications, but they're somewhat different. And in today's demo, I'm going to show you if you have some of this basic application. In my case, I have like a hotel app. How can we change these assets for the customer? So how can we change the header image, for example, and then some fonts or some colors? In order to do that, the first thing you may think to yourself is like, okay, like if we are changing some of these assets, then we need a way to manage these assets for the customer. And in this talk, we are talking about white labeling at scale using CI/CD. And in my case, I'm using CodeMagic as the example, but you can use any CI/CD for that matter that supports some of these features that I'm showing. But the important thing is that CI/CD, it is not a content management system. So don't use CodeMagic or any CI for that matter to store your customers' assets, but instead use it to run your workloads. In my case, for managing customer assets, I'm using some static storage, some bucket. And I am keeping my client assets in a zip file. You can also get away with different repositories, for example. I've seen customers do it with up to some 10, 15, 20 apps. And bigger ones, they require some custom CMS. And what I'm gonna do today is I want to show you how you can use CI/CD to trigger either one client build, multiple client builds, and how you can set up your workflow so that once your build is triggered, we can fetch assets for one particular client. So in this case, we are triggering builds, your CI builds, using API requests. And this is good because we can parameterize these requests. So every time we are adding a new client, or in Santander's case, when we are adding a new location, then we don't need to change our CI configuration. We can use that same config to scale to many customers. And this is possible because the API that we are using to trigger builds, it supports this environment object. And this environment object means that when we are starting builds, we can pass in a variable. And in our case, the variable will be the client ID. And this is what we will use to fetch the assets of a particular client. So let's take a look what this demo looks like. So I have this application, which is my development app. And this is just some basic vanilla Flutter app. The only real important thing here is that I have this assets folder that has a header image, and then I have a settings.json file where I'm configuring some app specific things that are different across clients. Yes, I am setting the name and the breakfast times here, but in reality, you probably don't want to do it in this settings.json file. Maybe you want to set some API endpoints here, for example. For the sake of this demo, it's good enough for now. And by the way, everything I'm showing you, it's accessible on GitHub as well. So this presentation that I'm showing you, you can check it out later. Yes, so we have this sample app, so header image, some settings.json file. Now let's kick off a build on CodeMagic. So what are we doing now? We want to start a new build on the CI using an API request, and we want to pass the client ID. So what we have just done in this request is that we script, yes. we use this same curl request to start a build using this client ID, right? Okay. And once this one it's working, then CodeMagic will clone the repository, download the client assets from this S3 bucket, replace these assets during the build the app and version it, and then publish it to the stores as well. So the app that I have on my phone, show it to you. So this is my test flight. And I'm using the client 1 in this case. So this is what the app looks like. And CodeMagic, it's kicked off this build. So what CodeMagic did, when you kick off a build, we allocate the virtual machine, we fetch these app sources, we get the assets from Amazon S3 bucket in our case. And wait, before I continue. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so we prepare the machine, we clone the repository, we fetch the assets from S3 bucket, and these assets, what I am fetching, it is effectively these things here. So I have a header image, I have app icons, I have some fonts here, and I have this settings.json file. Right. So in CodeMagic workflow, what I'm doing, for example, changing the app name, I am setting the bundle ID for this particular client, changing the icons, changing the fonts, and this maybe seem fairly straightforward to you, but you can also actually change and set the code signing settings as well using same approach. And I want to highlight that what I'm doing is I'm using this CodeMagic CLI to sometimes acting up. I'm using this CodeMagic CLI and in particular this App Store Connect command. Using this App Store Connect command, you are able to fetch the signing files of a particular client for their bundle ID. So in my case, during the build, if I have set the bundle ID, then I am able to generate or fetch the signing files for a particular client. And this is very, very powerful because now you are able to create and fetch iOS code signing files so that you can sign and publish the application. Yes. Another thing what you can do is you can use this same idea to version the application. So this same App Store Connect command, we also have get latest test flight build number or get latest App Store build number. And for this specific App Store ID, you can now fetch the build number so that when you are versioning your application, you can make sure that the version number is always greater than the previous one, because you're always fetching it from test flight. This is very, very useful, I think. And that all allows us to publish the application to the store. And once it is already uploaded, you can also then, I think I have to refresh it. Yeah. Once it's uploaded, then the cool thing is that you only need this Mac computer in order to build the IPA file. You don't need it to interact with App Store Connect. So what CodeMagic does, once you have uploaded the build to App Store Connect, we will destroy the virtual machine, but we will continue to communicate with App Store Connect outside of the VM, which means that these operations, this post-processing, it doesn't consume any of your CodeMagic resources, so you can do it for free. And so that means that once it's uploaded, we make it available for testers. But let's see. So we uploaded the app, but it is the same app as before. So this is what you saw me doing before with this CyberDuck client. So CyberDuck is a client for Amazon S3, and this is where I stored all of my client files. So maybe for those of you who paid attention more, I did not update these assets, which means that when I run a new build, I just republished the same version that I had before. So the second build that I kicked off, I actually updated these header images. So let's, and this one was the second build that we did. Okay. And let's see if this one is available. All right. Aha, it is. Very good. So now we have successfully updated the application. Cool. I wanted to also show you some things that you can do using this API. In CodeMagic, I have stored some environment variables, and in this case, I've stored, for example, the bundle ID, the app name, App Store ID, and some my App Store Connect private key. So if you have, for example, multiple clients that you're publishing this to, then you should change these values for each client if they have different App Store Connect accounts, for example. CodeMagic has API endpoint to interact with these values. So you can delete all of them. And you can add them as well. And the scripts that I'm using to do that, they are available in this repo that I'm showing you. Yes, so nothing is lost. So that case, when you're adding a new one, you can just do it from here. But that's it. And thank you very much for listening and have a great rest of your conference. Bye.